There's about 84 days of winter semesters that come along us to end it. So the annual problem for our podcast watchers, finding a good way to spend it. Like maybe looking up facts or cracking a fossil or climbing up a gene sequence, covering theories and what was so wrong, or quoting a mammoth or science. Surfing Darwin's essay, hatching for larvae, or decoding COI code.
Gyro over here!
So go grab your left coat. This podcast is no joke, will drive your TA insane. As you can see, there's a whole lot of stuff to do before finals come this spring.
Come on, Anissa.
So stick with us, cause JKORN on the KOB is gonna do it all. So stick with us, cause JKORN on the KOB is gonna do it all.
Professor, Jacob's podcast is making a title sequence.
Welcome back to JKORN on the KOB, the podcast where we shuck the mysteries of science, butter up some cool facts, and serve you some fresh kernels of knowledge. I'm your host, Jacob, but you can call me JKORN, and today's topic is mimicry, nature's greatest impersonators. Joining us today are two of my very good friends who are also very good at their own sciences. We have Anissa, our go-to ecologist, and Jaira, our zoology whiz.
Woo! Finally, you ended up inviting us.
Yeah, what's with the hold up?
Sorry for the delay, guys. Well, better late than never, right?
I'm super excited to talk about how mimicry plays a huge role in survival.
Yeah. Well, starting off simple, could you explain to our audience what mimicry even is in nature?
You want to take this one?
Yes, this is my specialty. Mimicry allows species to evolve traits that resemble another's for survival. The Rantomea imiter is a poison dart frog that mimics more toxic frogs to avoid predators. The bright colors trick species into thinking it's just as poisonous. You could think of it as nature's faking it till you make it.
Okay, so is this trait something that pops up overnight, or?
Well, it doesn't just happen overnight. Like, it took generations of variation, and then these frogs that look a lot more like their toxic counterparts would basically survive, and then it would pass it on, like those traits, which increases what we call their fitness.
And when you say increasing fitness, what does that exactly mean?
Well, fitness basically means how well an organism survives to reproduce. So when we increase fitness, then...
Oh, okay. Then we're increasing the species' lifespan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then over time, natural selection would favor these individuals, which would, strengthen their resemblance through a process of fine-tuning. And then even though, mimicry wasn't even intentional to begin with.
Okay. And when you said fine-tuning, what exactly is that process?
Okay, do you guys remember back in university during our evolution labs when you two gaslit me into thinking I was saying Batesian wrong?
Okay.
And then after months and months and months of correcting you, you guys started to mimic me and started saying how I said it. It's like that.
Okay.
So we're still, okay.
That was a good example.
Well, it does make sense. Over time, we adapted and mimicked your way of saying it for the benefit of us getting a higher grade on a creative project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's not like these animals wake up one day and think, I want to look like something poisonous.
Yeah, exactly. No glow up happens overnight.
Okay. Well, now that we know what mimicry is and what it does, let's get into the different types with Jaira.
Go for it.
Well, a lot of people can see these different colorful patterns on animals and think that they're doing the same kind of mimicry, but we know that there's different types. So could you start us off by explaining Batesian mimicry a little bit more?
Absolutely. So Batesian mimicry is actually when a harmless species would imitate a dangerous one. So take like the milk snake, for example, Lepropetus triangulum. They resemble the venomous squirrel snake, the Microrhizis species, with the bright red spots and then like the yellow band and then the black bands, which would signal danger. Though harmless, the milk snakes would copy this and would trick predators into thinking that it's actually venomous, which is not.
So it's playing pretend, basically.
Yeah, basically.
They're getting like the protection without actually having the capacity of defending themselves.
Basically, yeah. But we also have malaria mimicry, which is when
Okay.
two species both have the dangerous trait and evolve to look alike. The dart frog is an example of malarian mimicry.
Okay. Well, but if they're both dangerous, though, why would they evolve to end up looking like each other?
Well, because both of these guys, their predators would learn how to avoid them much faster. So if they attack one and then have a bad experience, they'll learn to avoid both. And basically, especially if they look very similar, which makes it very beneficial for both.
Yeah, let's imagine two bags of chips. We have Flaming Hot Cheetos and Spicy Cheetos. They're both spicy, but they don't taste exactly the same. However, they both come in a red bag with flames and they burn your mouth. after you burn your mouth once, you tend to avoid any chips in a red bag with flames.
Okay, so it's a mutual benefit for both the species.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then get this, actually, it plays a role in their mating success. Like there's some studies that suggest that the dart frogs that you mentioned, resembling the toxic models, have a better chance of, finding a mate because they actually look a lot more dangerous and more well adapted.
Yeah, so not only does it help with survival, but it also makes it more attractive.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty cool.
Well, now that we know what the foundation of mimicry is, different types, how it works, and how it's evolved, I am wondering, has it ever not worked in nature?
Oh, you bet. Mimicry
Okay.
works best when it's rare. If too many organisms mimic toxicity, predators start testing more and catching on. This weakens the advantage, and the model species becomes less toxic over time, then the entire system breaks apart, and predators resume attacks.
There's a fine line, yeah, like if the prey start to catch on, they'll evolve to have countermeasures about it. And then they'll start to recognize patterns that give away to predators. And so it's kind of like the cybersecurity month that we used to have in uni. You guys remember that?
Oh
my God.
Emails?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
whole-
Yes! I
Yes.
fell for it once.
I actually did too,
Or
yeah.
twice.
And like after that, you guys probably were more extra careful where you recognize patterns on those emails and you make sure you didn't want to make the same mistake again.
Oh, okay. So it's not, so mimicry isn't foolproof then. It's like an arms race. Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
predators and prey constantly adapting to like outsmart each other almost. It's like the OG survival game,
Yes,
basically.
precisely.
You got it.
Okay. Well, I think we've hustled our way through the A to Z of how poison frogs and snakes basically play their own survival game. Shout out to Anissa and Jaira for joining us today on this episode. And if you guys enjoyed, make sure to follow us on this channel for more science facts and breakdowns. As always, stay curious and stay corny. See you guys.
Bye!